Hello, this is Greg Allison Green Griggs coming to you on 16 August 22. Time on deck is 1300 hours Central Daylight Time. My friends, I got a question for you. Why is the IRS hiring 87,000 agents? Who are they going after? Janet Yellen says they're going after just the elite. Those people that make over $400,000 a year. Do you believe that? We're going to go into that. We're going to talk about this. What about the FBI? Are the federal agencies being weaponized? Are they looking for you? That's the topic on which we're about to stew. So listen, guys, I'm trying to bring you stuff to keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. This is Swivel Head News. I'm going to cover that, and I'm going to cover other topics in this video. We're going to talk about the droughts, food security, shortages. But mainly we're going to focus, at least initially, on this IRS business and the FBI business, because that's the big news. We talk a lot about war, so we're going to kind of stay away from that tonight. But with all the world events going on, I'm sure we're going to be back that very soon, including Civil War, which we'll talk, just barely touch on this video. All right, guys, hang on. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, bang the notification bell, and click all. Now, here we go. I'm going to do share here, bing, 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 bing. And here we are. Wham. Don't know if that's a page I actually want to start. Yeah, here we go. Do you realize the IRS has a SWAT team? Yeah, the IRS. In fact, they've had this SWAT team now for about 11 years, apparently. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly, at least 10 years. This article is dated March 2012. Wow, guys. Why does the IRS need a SWAT team? So does this tell us a little bit about where they're going? Of course, they're not alone. The IRS is not alone in their desires and needs for a SWAT team. I mean, you know, what's this agents coming out to collect the tax bill? They got to have a SWAT team. Wow. Yet we're told it's okay for people to burn down our cities. It's just property. Nothing should be done to them. But if you owe the federal government some nickels, they're going to send a SWAT team. Wow. But not only them, this is the FBI. Oh, yeah, this is the FBI website. I can show this site entirely because it's a government, and any government thing is not capable of being copywritten because it belongs to the people. Yeah, there we go. Hostage rescue. Now I can see that. That's a good thing. But a special, wow. Yes, they have storming and barricading buildings, breaching locks. Oh, yeah. They did breach some locks just recently, didn't they, down in Mar-a-Largo? Somebody's safe, right? Arresting dangerous suspects, rescuing hostages, climbing or rappelling in difficult terrain. Because we work so dangerous, the SWAT team members are heavily equipped with all this kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. And these things. Stuff that they don't want you to have, right? This is what they're trying to take. But I bet their versions of this are real M16s, not the little AR-15s that are being sold in America. Think about it. What army equips itself with AR-15s? None. Even though they say, oh, everybody's trying to equip themselves like the military. Oh, well, so much for that. But yeah, let's go over here. Guys, oh, yeah, there's, if you don't think you need to prep with all this going on, what's coming us in, with all the war, the economic strife, food shortages, guess what? We got a great special right now. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know if this is the actual ticker on it, but my notion is it'll probably be over by the end of the month. But guys, I don't know. I wouldn't waste time because right now there's a special that's better than any since 2019. $250 off the 3-month supply of food if you go to prepwithgreg.com. Prepwithgreg.com. Guys, this is an amazing deal. Yeah, Greg, that's a lot of money. Well, that's 3 months, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 2,000 calories a day. And it's about $2.57, I believe, per meal. Guys, that is amazing. Plus, you get lunches. I mean, you get breakfasts, you get desserts, you get drinks. You see, all this is all part of it, guys. That tells you what's in here. 21 varieties tasty breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks. Yeah, a reusable, heavy. Yeah, this bucket is awesome, guys. Yeah, the whole thing weighs 120 pounds because you get 6 of these. These no MSGs, guys. And so many other places are out. These guys are not out. But if you can't handle that, you could at least maybe consider a 4-week supply. Can you feed yourself 4 weeks for that? You know, out of the grocery store, going to fast food. How many of you do that? This is definitely better than anything going to get out of a fast food place. I'll tell you that. Better for you. So, all right, guys, there we are. But do buy your beans and rice and all that stuff. I always tell you that, and learn how to eat your wild edibles and garden. I always tell you to garden. Oh yeah, and I've had some confusion here. I'm having a hard time switching tabs. Zoom is fighting me. There we go. I've had some confusion about this. Worms are for sale again, except 20 to 26 August. If you order up to the 20th of August, I'm still shipping on the 21st. Well, I'm harvesting on 21st and shipping on the 22nd. It's just I can't be doing it on the 28th when I normally harvest because I got to be up all night that night on the console, the space launch system, SLS Artemis 1 rocket. Hopefully it gets off that night, and hopefully it flies true and straight and goes to the moon and brings, and the Orion capsule comes back and splashes down as they had hoped. That's what I'm hoping. We shall see. Rockets are rockets. But guys, think about this. How many people are there in the United States? It's over 400,000. 2.8 million. Now, I guarantee at least half of them would be off the list anyway. You know what I mean? The way the government seems to be running these days. It seems to be highly partisan. And if you don't believe that, we can bring that up for another subject. But guys, look, if they went after 2.8 million with 87,000 people, they'd have a week and a half for each and every one of them. They don't need that much time. If they could do 2 a day, it's 43 million people. Who are they really going after? Well, some people are postulating about it. An IRS that's armed and dangerous. When you're under IRS investigation, the agency places a lien on your bank account, and you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. I know that's a fact. It happened to a friend of mine. He had a farm. He lost everything because of it. He lost his farm. He lost his equipment. He lost everything. But you imagine, he couldn't use his equipment. He couldn't access his bank account. His money was frozen. It ain't just a lien. It was frozen. My friend's name was Jim Joyner. He lost it all because of the IRS. So, here's another. I think this article, or there's another one I just read somewhere where the guy's talking about, hey, I fought for 3 years the IRS. I spent tens of thousands of dollars in attorney fees. And then in the end, the IRS says, oh, oops, we were wrong, and just drop the case. Yeah, they were wrong. But what happened to this guy? He's crushed after spending so much money. This can destroy you. And if they're out to destroy small businesses, they're out to destroy individuals, they can absolutely smash you. And again, you are guilty and proven innocent. Yeah, they don't even follow any of the things that you would normally have to follow in law enforcement. So, forget all that stuff. Forget habeas corpus. They don't follow habeas corpus even, telling you what you're charged with. That's a, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I hate this Zoom app. It makes it extremely hard to switch tabs because it fights me. Hang on. Put this over here. Oops, I don't even know if I'm sharing now. Yes, I'm still sharing. Okay. I moved it and it kind of disappeared on me. Okay, guys, here we are. Ex-IRS whistleblower says middle classes are targeted under this so-called anti-inflation bill. I'm not going to scroll through it, but just give you an idea. The whistleblowers are claiming this. Now here we are. The FBI is we're talking about who are they going after? Who are they pointing at? What's the FBI always do, guys? Well, they're warning a civil war and some kind of dirty bomb event after the Trump raid. Wow. Okay, let's see here. Got that back. So now what are they saying? They got American Revolution images. Remember this when I talked about this before? American Revolution images might reveal you as a violent extremist, says who? The FBI. So if you're an American that loves America, You talk about our revolution, you talk about our freedoms, you can't quote the founding fathers, fly a Gadsden flag or a Betsy Ross flag, then you might be a terrorist. Are you kidding me? Wow. Wow. If you talk about anything in the Bill of Rights, you might be a terrorist. You're to be put on a watch list. Oh, it don't get any better, guys. And so they talk about this stuff, the focus of militia extremism. And this is once 11 years old. So they started talking this talk sometime back, but now they've really hyped it up. And here's a recent article. Oh, yeah, the news media just going along with it. 9/11 was a wake-up call. America is still snoozing after the Capitol riot, or the Capitol assault, excuse me. Then get this, domestic extremism is the greatest threat to the homeland. Oh, what does that have to do with this? 9/11. Oh, this was domestic extremism, huh? See how they mix stuff up? See how the media plays games? How they mix apples and oranges and put together an article. Who's the idiot that wrote this? Elise Labat. What an idiot. Come on, you're mixing stuff up and just trying to cause trouble. That's all this article does. This is pure garbage. You don't even know how to associate things properly. That don't even make sense, you knucklehead idiot. Elise Labat. Come on. What does this in your headline have to do with this in your subheadline? That's all you want to talk about here. You know what, guys? This article is not worthy of reading. I'm just pointing out to you how the news media treats stuff. This is all over the mainstream junk like this, things that are not logical, things that don't make sense, because they want to point back to you for everything that happens. You are the target. You are the ones they want to point to. This seems to be the case. I mean, if it's not, how come is it the FBI focuses on mama in school because she don't want certain things taught to her kids, or you know, are looking for medical rights, and they're branded extremists, and the FBI comes after mama. Yet there are people with training camps in this country that they turn a blind eye to. There are sleeper cells in this country. Even the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard in Iran admitted years ago to have enough sleeper cells in the United States. And he said it's over a decade ago to take out 20 of our major power substations. Upon hearing 9 would be sufficient to take down Iran. He said, I've already got 20 covered with sleeper cells in the United States. And then what's going on with our border? Our border is wide open and just coming through with drugs. Where people, I've been told by an analyst who's actually an agent, works with the Border Patrol, that 150 nationalities are coming across our border. It's not just Mexicans and Central Americans and maybe some South Americans. No. Jeez. Anyway, that is way too much. Our security is at stake, and our government don't care about what's the government supposed to do? Defend us. They're going to keep us out of war and defend us if we have to get in a war. But they're wanting to, but they rely on us supposedly to do the bulk of that because they didn't want us to stand in an army, and that's what we probably should be. We should be the defenders. The militia is the people. But good grief, guys, look where we're at. Now we will delve on the war a little bit here, what's going on, the tensions. I don't know, this incredible picture reveal massive U2 U.S. show of force over Pacific with nuclear B-2 stealth bombers warning to China. Well, really, there's only a couple of B-2 stealth bombers and some escort planes and a spy plane, you know, radar plane. Come on, guys, that ain't massive. Although each B-2 is capable of launching like 40, 80 different little smaller missiles and maybe a couple bunker busters. All right. Now here's what you need to really focus on right now: this drought situation in the West. And you know, as we've all been hearing about this Colorado River going down, and how the tensions are going between the states, and now it's even in the Northeast. This is Rhode Island, Vermont farmer. Wow. He says very nerve-wracking what he's having to deal with. He was grazing 600, 700 head of cattle. You know, Vermont cheese, guys, it's good stuff. So, but you know, everything gets blamed. We're going to come back to that. We're going to talk about that. And I want to end this video. I want to touch on this first. Climate model suggests global warming has already doubled the risk of a California mega flood. And what they're saying is, oh, well, it always falls in the mountains as snow, but this time it's going to come as rain because it's too warm, and that's going to cause a mega flood. And they cite a mega flood that occurred back in 1961 and 62. And there was a mega flood then. It filled the Central Valley in California. Sacramento was 10 feet deep in water from that mega flood. 4,000 people died. And this is when California had almost nobody there in 1861, 62, that winter. So one to suggest that it has everything these days, everything that happens in the world, they say it's because of climate change. Everything they blame on climate change. Excuse me, I guess the reason that happened in 1861 is Wild Bill Cody hadn't killed all the buffalo yet. Yeah, he saved the world. He saved the whole universe when he wiped out those belching buffalo. Not. Oh my gosh. I mean, we got to get rid of cattle because they belch. So how in the world did the universe survive with cattle on Earth belching? And with gas coming out the other end too. So how do they survive? So guys, here's the truth: these mega floods occur. This has been cyclic forever. This has always happened, and it's not because of you didn't get snow and it melted. It's because that's what's happened. And it's a river of rain that you get a huge jet stream focusing a lot of moisture. It's called an atmospheric river, and it can focus on California. They discovered this. I read articles on this years ago. And they do expect it to happen again. And sooner or later, they're due for it. And it will definitely break the drought. I mean, it's going to flood everything when it hits. But California, especially because these mountains really cause it to precipitate out, this place will be drenched. It might resupply the aquifers. Who knows? Or it may just all run off. It takes a while to get all that water down to the aquifers. It's got to seep in. And all these aquifers have collapsed. So how you get them rehydrated? How do you get that stuff piling up again? Well, it could, because the water hits a table below that can't go down, and then everything else slowly gets pushed up. But that'll happen over and overnight rain. But we're talking an extended period of rain. It's not just a one deal. It's not a storm. It's not a monsoon. It goes on for months. All right, so let's stop this. I'm going to talk about the food security thing a little bit. Stop share. Yeehaw. Food security, guys. Europe is in drought. Europe is in serious drought. Europe is, mention that. Europe is having the Danube, the Rhine River, several major rivers in Europe are drying up. They may not even be able to transport stuff on, just like the Colorado River. The drought over there is serious. Now, these things happen. It's weather. And some people are talking like it's drought everywhere. It's hot and everything's dry. Well, actually, right here, it was only got, I think, 79 yesterday. This is August. It's supposed to be one of our hottest months. It's getting down in the low 60s some nights. 60s is getting typical. We almost got in the 50s. We got 60 degrees, almost down in the 50s. When I here a couple nights ago, we were having cool nights, mild days. For August, are cool. It was 79. 79 was a hot day. It didn't even get up to 80. And I looked at the forecast, and it's like that through the rest of the week. So we're already halfway through August, and August has been like that for the first half. So we might have got close to 100 one day. I'm not sure that we actually made it. So guys, it's really strange. And this is supposed to be our dry season starting out. It's raining. Just raining and raining and raining every couple of days or something like that. We're getting plenty of rain. So here we don't have a problem with drought. Here we don't have a problem with overheating. Here we're just peachy fine. We're down here in the sunny south. They told us we were going to be scorched and dry. No, other people are scorched and dry. The way that's pretty typical in the West. So guys, what you got to remember is this. All that irrespective. Whatever climate theories you believe or don't believe, irrespective. The bottom line is this: there will be shortages because the Midwest is having a little bit hit, but the Western states are heavily hit. Western states produce a lot of fruits and vegetables, and nuts, fruits and vegetables. Europe is going to be begging for food. They're going to be hitting the global market trying to suck food out of other places like the United States. along with countries like the Mideast. Yeah, Ukraine has managed to get a shipment or two of food out, but how much will they be able to ship out? And how much do they have to ship out in the first place? Russia's being embargoed. What are they going to be able to get out of the Ukraine? And remember, the harbors are mined. A lot of the farmers were attacked while they were farming just to shut them down. A lot of the infrastructure to process and store and move food in Ukraine is wiped out. A lot of the shipping is wiped out. Companies do not want to go in there with their ships to pick up grain because they can't get insurance to be going into war zones with their ships, and they don't take their ships in there. So there's a ton of challenges to getting that grain out. Yeah, they've gotten a shipment out of her, maybe there may be a few more, but it's not like it was. They're getting a little bit out, but it's nothing like what it was before. So, and here's the other thing. Farmers all over the world are suffering for a lack of potash, for a lack of phosphate, and potash was coming from Russia and Ukraine. The phosphates were coming from China, and nitrogen, which came from all the natural gas. Now, here in America, we can still get some, but because we got Canadian supplies and other natural gas supplies from our own wells. But guys, the prices went up about 250% all over the country, along with fuel prices. They all went shot way up, and all this has cost the farmers more. Farmers are taking a lot of shortcuts to try to save cost. I showed that in my video, Food 9/11. The shortcut. I went out to the fields. I went out to numerous fields in that video and showed you exactly what was happening, the shortcuts that were taken, and how that can be expected to cause a reducement of yield here in the United States. We're probably going to produce a little bit less. I don't know how much. It may not be a whole lot less, but we're going to produce a little bit less just from that alone. But when you couple what's going on in the West, the droughts, and then the fact that Europe is so much starving for food, and all these other countries are having problems getting the fertilizer, and it's going to hit them harder. And even China. Oh, yeah, well, China's bought half the world's food. That's true. China does. They're stockpiled web for what? Why are they stockpiling? That is an illusion, because when you go and look in the Chinese food storage facilities, half of everything they got's rotten. They're no darn good at protecting and maintaining their grains. Their stuff rots in mass. So really, they've hoarded half the world's food, and they're probably rotting 60% of it out. So they'll probably be able to get 40% of it back out to feed their people with. Not good numbers. Oh yeah, China's also been flooded pretty seriously again this year. So China's getting flooded. We're getting plenty of rain here. Maybe it's the southeastern part of Asia, southeastern part of North America. I don't know what that's all about. We're getting water. China's getting really flooded. We had, Kentucky got flooded real bad a few weeks ago, and a lot of people lost their lives over that. So, and they need your help if you know any way to get to those people in Kentucky. Now, guys, the bottom line is food could get very scarce. Some items could disappear off the shelves, and it's going to get very expensive. Well, Americans will still be able to eat, but it's going to cost more. It's going to cost a lot more. And it's going to cost more. And some countries, they're very marginal. Some countries, there may be this year mass starvation. And this is the kind of thing that can lead to war. Everything else going on too, guys, economic collapse. We've got several key economists talking about potential economic collapse. I might go into that in another video. But guys, we are in a serious position. The head of JP Morgan was one of them, saying this is going to be a lot worse than a recession. It's going to be a lot worse than 2008. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. We can see why. We've talked about it. So just expect, and China, oh yeah, they're expecting a lot of mortgages not to be paid here in the United States, just on that basis alone. Well, gosh, worse than 2008. But China's facing major economic collapse and demographic collapse, and so is Russia, especially demographic collapse. So, what I've been saying is, somebody made a comment on one of my previous videos. So, Greg, you used to talk about the threat of China invading, starting war. Now you're kind of seem like you're talking about just, we're trying to incite it. Well, I do believe China wants to expand. That's why they put that big 9-dash line out there. And that is why, you know what, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's share, let's go to Google Earth. We'll make sense of this. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. I meant to do this the other day. Google Earth. I got it dialed up roughly on China. China has got right now $3 trillion of the world's annual trade goes to the Strait of Taiwan. Why? Because these inland waters are more stable than the deeper ocean waters. You know, it's pretty rough here. There's only a couple of seasons that the Chinese can actually invade Taiwan, but still better than getting out here in open ocean. These first island chains does provide a little bit of a barrier to some of the roughness. So the trade likes to go right through the strait, but they come down here and they come through this strait right here. This Malacca Strait, I believe is the name of it. It's right here in Indonesia. And the reason I'm showing the whole world here is because this is a long, narrow strait. It would be, this is kind of like how 300 Greeks held off the entire Persian army because they had one little narrow place they all had to go through. Well, India by themselves believes that they can keep the Navy of China at bay right here. They can block them off right here. You can say, great, but they can go around. The problem is they got to go a long way around, which means they got to come down here and around Australia. And what's Australia done? They've joined the AUKUS and they're arming up. Or they got to go all the way around Australia down here. They can't get out here without getting too close to Australia and going way out of the way and spending. And let me tell you, ship fuel costs a lot of money. Shipping is the easiest way to transport stuff cost-wise, major goods. Like they say it's like 1/16 is cheaper than overland freight. But I'm gonna tell you what, I've spent $1,200 just taking a utility boat 200 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico 22 years ago. That was my fuel bill, just going out 200 miles and back was like $1,200, and that's when fuel was cheap. You know, today that would have cost $5,000-6,000 just to go 200 miles out. So to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, you know, if you got to go, let me stop that for a second. Pull Persia, and yeah, there's a little bit of the Gulf there. We're Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz. Let's just come around the Strait of Hormuz. You're gonna come around the Strait of Hormuz and sail through this little strait and come, say, up here to China. Bam, right there, Guangdong. Yeah, it's right at Guangdong, which is a major industrial center in China. How many miles is that? It is 6,470 miles. That's the closest route, and that's going to still take a fair amount of fuel and cost. So let's end that. Let's do another route. I don't know if this other screen that I'm reading mileage is showing up or not when I do share screen. I hope it does. So we're going to come in here and do another route. We're going to go, oops, I hit India, yikes. There ain't no really good way through the islands then. Let's say you go around this way. Whoop, that's pretty tight right there. Then you come back up, come back around and go to Guangdong. Bing. 12,806 miles. That's twice as far just to go around Indonesia. And right here, there's this one little point here, but that's got the volcano Krakatoa in it. And I don't even know if you can navigate through there. So yeah, if you want to go around Australia from here, oops, shoot, let's start over. I'm looking at where I want to go, not where I'm at. Cancel. Start over. Yeah, I can't go through India. What is going on? Cancel the wrong thing. Here we go, one more time. From the Strait of Hormuz, then you gotta go a little further in the Strait of Hormuz. You gotta get up in. We're gonna go all the way around Australia. Come on the edge of this map. Oops. What up? I got discontinued. So start that again. Bing. Oh, messed up. Hang on, guys. Now, you know, a regular channel that's got oodles of time will edit all this stuff out. But guys, oops, I don't have oodles of time. I got like no time. I'm good to get 4 hours sleep in the night. Because I am doing microgreens. I got a day job. Another YouTube channel I need to put some videos on. All right, we'll come down to Guangdong now. Yeah, it was kind of narrow trying to get between Australia and the limb of the Earth. That's where I messed up before. Bing. Miles. 16,000 miles. That's 10,000 more than just going through this strait here. That's that's a long trip. That's almost that's a good fraction of the 25,000 miles around the Earth, but you got to go a lot farther if you're actually going by sea. So there you go, guys. That's a lot of miles, and oh yeah, that's really close to Australia. So if Australia wants to pick you off, they got plenty of opportunity as you go all the way around. So if you're at war with Australia, you got a problem. If you're at war with India, you got a problem. So here's the issue that China actually has. It's the fact they got to get through this strait. And the fact they got to get through this strait is probably the real reason they came down here with their 9-dash line and claimed a huge chunk of the South China Sea territory that really belongs to Vietnam and Indonesia and Malaysia and Philippines and several other countries, really, according to the international rules, the way that we allocate ocean rights. Several other nations own, seven other nations own a good chunk of this, maybe all of it. China should actually be restricted, according to the normal international rules, to something like this. And that's bigger than what they should actually have access to. So they have claimed a huge region, a huge ocean, basically, through which most of the world's trade is going. And it's rich in natural resources and stuff that should belong to these other countries, but China has tried to claim it for themselves. And they're very militant about it. They've even built, they said they would never militarize the islands they were building. That's the first thing they did. So the first thing you ought to know about Chinese or any communist is never trust what a communist tells you. They always lie. Because they think anything justifies a mean. Therefore, to them, lying and stealing and cheating is moral because it justifies the end of the expansion of communist society. And one of the tenets of communism is that communism doesn't really work unless the whole world's communist. That's how they got to get a jail card because their system don't work no way. And they got their own world. Why does the whole earth need to be communist for communism to work? But see, that's part of the fallacy of it. So guys, there you go. Let's zoom in on this strait here, the strait in question. I wanted to show you all this earlier. Let me zoom in. So we'll talk about this a little bit. Here I am. I have to do this again in the future. You see here, they can't even navigate just wide open through here. They got to get through a very narrow passage here. This is the real cutoff point right there. All these ships have to go right through here. Maybe some can get through here. There's a little bit of blue there, some blue here. That's it. That is it. And this whole passage here is very narrow. Let's look at how we, oh shoot. Zoom this fight. Let me go touch the buttons I want. There we go. What is this right here? 33 miles. Wow. Just 33 miles across. Well, here you got just a couple miles right in here. You got very little free open water here. Let's zoom in on that a little better and see what we're looking at here. Like all these islands, and you got all these obstructions. That's really shallow water right there. So really and truly, you got to either go right through here or right through here. And wow, and even right here, you got a piece of an island. So what is the real choke point? I mean, this has got to be a heavy shipping point right here. 3.3 miles. Wow. Now I see why the Chinese are so paranoid. Yeah, so the reason they wanted that 9-dash line again is really and truly to put as much military down here as possible, be close to this, so they could have a better projection force to strike in here. Most of their ships are actually short range. They do not really have a true blue water navy. The only true blue water navies in the world are the navies of the United States, Japan, and probably Great Britain. Russia has blue water navy, but not of great consequence. Not now. So guys, that's it right there, guys. That's why they claimed all this area. Well, not to mention it also gives them more defense. It makes it harder to come up on China when they put all those missiles out here, those DF-17s, DF-21s, Dongfang, that's what DF stands for, and DF-26s, which they call carrier killers, Guam killers, and all that kind of stuff. So there you go, guys. There's the geopolitical aspect of it. And if you can shut this strait down, China's trade goes to zilch. China is really dependent on oil from Iran and the Mid East. They're getting some oil now. Actually, Russia's got some oil pipelines. They're getting down into here. So they're getting some oil from Russia, but pipelines could be attacked too. Get a drone in there and you can get out, you can take out all those pipelines. So Russia knows they're vulnerable. I mean, China knows they're vulnerable to their trade passages. And if China blockades Taiwan, if somebody wanted to, they could just reciprocate by putting a blockade right here. That's all they have to do for most of the Chinese trade. Of course, really a blockade would normally be all around the country. But just even choking off this point here would make a major difference to China. A major difference. So there you go, guys. Now, am I worried about China? Yes, I am. I think they're waiting. Somebody asked the question, so I'll just answer now. I think they're waiting for a couple of years till they get their stuff built up more. They're figuring ours will fall down. And they might want to do it while Joe Biden is still in president. So I'd say within 2 years. They will want to hit Taiwan within 2 years. Xi Jinping knows this country's demographics are falling. That's why Putin went into Ukraine. He knew his demographics were looking grim over time. So they've got a narrow window to act in. And Xi Jinping wants the fame and fortune of having, done what Mao Zedong couldn't do. But it may blow up in his face. It may not work out for him. It may cost us CCP, their very existence. But what else could it do? It might cost us ours. There are there's a lot of insinuation, speculation, and intelligence that says that China would strike us first. And China has a history of doing first strikes, of making the first hit in a war. China has a history of that. And so they might take out Guam and Okinawa first so that we couldn't respond to help Taiwan. There's a lot of thinkers that think that's exactly what would happen. They would strike us and do several Pearl Harbor operations. I was supposed to have so many bases in that area. It would be awful. It would be horrendous, and then attack Taiwan. Of course, that would automatically put us in war, but we would come in very handicapped to having all our resources in the area wiped out. So, I don't know, guys, it's a bleak situation. Our biggest hope is this, that we could have our forces defended in such a way that wouldn't make it easy to take them out. And I put the forward out there the idea for a missile system. You probably could field in 2 years if you really pushed it. That could do that. I already put that out there. There's other things. Hey, those Arsenal cargo ships, some airplanes, the long-range standoff cruise missiles, the AGM 158, stuff like that would be very attractive way to defend. And just if China's, you don't have to use it. It's not the point that because you got weapons to use them. No, you don't want to use them. The whole point is if you got them, you deter the other person. And the more like a prickly porcupine Taiwan becomes, the less the dragon's going to want to bite it because it's going to get a mouthful of spurs more than it can handle. And the biggest thing the Chinese army has going for it is their missiles. The actual structure of the army is very much a Soviet style. That would really be against them. They don't have a strong NCO corps, and so the army and most of the soldiers are little emperors. They're the only child of mom and dad who are counting on them to make a living for them. They've been treated like little emperors too. They're spoiled. So is this an army that's going to fight well, as opposed to a population that's trying to defend their homeland? Good questions. But the missiles are a huge threat. The missiles are a threat to Taiwan. The missiles are a threat to Okinawa. The missiles are a threat to Guam and all of our bases in Japan and South Korea. China's got so many missiles. They're a threat to our aircraft carriers. Well, yeah, China's developing new stealth subs, supposedly take out aircraft carriers. They're all aiming at our aircraft carriers because that's the backbone of our American naval power. But our aircraft carriers have some defenses too. They got some laser systems that are coming with and other things, so they got a shot at it. But guys, we just need to be strong enough that China won't be confident enough to make this move. If we can keep that up long enough, China will implode, and this whole risk of a superpower conflict between the United States and China could basically go away. I mean, China will still have their nukes. They'll still have a lot of stuff that can still hurt us, but they're going to be in such severe trouble trying to take care of their own that they may pass. Unless we want to just roll in there and take their country over, then of course they'd probably nuke us. But maybe. But here's the thing. That's why I said, if we can just hold out, if we can just stop, not have a world war here in the next 10, 20 years, we can have a really good future. I think the next 10 years, 15 years is going to be rough. We're going to have hyperinflation in the United States, mainly labor driven, because we're going to have a labor shortage of 400,000 workers, and it's going to go up to 900,000 as we inch forward, just because of the demographics of our population. But we should be able to get through it. Other nations have got much bigger problems. You know, the United States should be able to get through these things. Okay, enough said about all that. With that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. I may have to post this tomorrow because this is, yeah, I think it will because it's almost too late. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Greg out.